everybody, I'm Robin and these are my reflections. And today I am doing the 21 tarot questions from Lisa and Peggy Papez. I did not catch the live, but I did watch it back, and I will link it below, as well as I will link Lisa's original video for this tag below so everybody can take a look if you want. And then I will put her prompts below, all of the things. But let's get started because this is 21 decks. And if I take 1 minute per deck, that's 21 minutes already. And then if I talk past a minute, then we're going up and up and up in the time. So let's get started. So the first one is, what is a deck that they'll have to pry out of your cold, dead hands? And for that, it's going to be Super Lunaris Tarot. This is my favorite deck. I love this deck. Yeah. So they will have to pry it from my cold dead hands. And I hope that whoever is the next owner takes good care of it. Otherwise, just go ahead and bury me with it. Just let me keep it. I'm just kidding. This is a beautiful deck. And not only that, but the deck reminds me of my life. It is a reflection, as tarot should be, right? A reflection of your life. It reminds me of places that I've been, places I long to go, people that I've known, people that I know. It is my life as it occurs to me in reality, as well as it occurs to me in my dreamscapes. I first opened it and saw it. The first time I saw it, it felt abrasive because I was like, whoa, like how it just felt odd to have it in my hands like this, you know? Then I started using it and I became more comfortable with it. And I realized that this deck, it takes me to a place in my mind that is very understanding of myself in a way that I can't sometimes consciously understand myself. And not just myself, other things, situations surrounding my life. It's so good. It's so hard to really explain, but I'm not gonna talk about it anymore because we have to move on. 21 questions, right? But this is the Super Lunaris Tarot. You can get this on Etsy at Super Lunaris store. The people who run that store are magnificent. As a matter of fact, Jess and Jacob were probably the first people to ever speak to me from the tarot world after I started my Instagram. Um, they were probably the first people to ever respond to me, to ever join my page. They were so kind to me. Noticed that I um, they noticed that I really enjoyed their deck, and they were like, "Oh, if you like, we would like to send you a print of the card that you say you like." So, I mean, they were so nice, so nice, and so I think that also helps me to feel really connected to the things that I purchased from their shops. I have purchased quite a few things, cloths, decks, all kinds of things from them. So prints. So I definitely recommend them as a seller, but this deck is just for me the one that you will definitely be prying from my cold dead hands. I will always keep this deck. The next one is, what is your guilty pleasure deck? That is going to be this one. This is the Roses and Lilies tarot that I purchased from Make Playing Cards last year. It is a facsimile copy of the original RWS, and I love it. But it is a guilty pleasure because I have 1,001 copies of the RWS, and I would say that that I'm exaggerating. But no, I am exaggerating. It's not 1,001, but I have a lot of copies of the RWS. I did not need another one, but I had to have this one. I needed this one, and so damn it, I had to get it, and I have it, and there it was. I love it. I love it. It buzzes in my hand. I am so happy to have this copy of the original copy of this deck. And yeah, this is the Roses and Lilies from Make Playing Cards. It is definitely my guilty pleasure deck because I did not need another copy of the RWS. But I did kind of need it though. I did. The next one is, what's the deck you wish existed? And for me, that would be a Vampire Diaries / original / legacies deck. which I will probably make someday for myself. It would not be something I could sell because I would just grab the images from the internet, or a Christmas movie deck. But it has to be Christmas movies that I watch, like stuff that I like to watch. So it would be another one that I would have to make myself because I want something very specific. But a feel good Christmas movie deck. I just want a feel good Christmas deck. And I think what I want is a Christmas movie deck because I really don't like any of the Christmas decks out there, to be honest. And I want something specifically for me, you know? And so I think I'm going to have to make it myself. If anybody knows where I can get something like that printed on a nice cardstock, let me know because I'm going to pull the images from the internet. I'm not going to do, like paid images or whatever. So, but I only want to print one copy. So if anybody knows which site I can do that at, let me know. The next one is, what deck would you give a new reader? Okay, so this is a tricky question because what I tried to do with this is I tried to just kind of, like Lisa said, just throw the questions, just throw the answers on the page and be done with it. And the first thing that popped into my mind is something I would buy, like if I was going to buy something specifically to give to someone, would be this one. This is the Awakened Tarot. You can get this. This is from My Ride. Let me see so you can see it. MyRive.com, and you can purchase this on Amazon. They have an Amazon page as well, an Amazon store. It's a clone, a modern clone of RWS. It's on very nice stock. Very that smooth sort of satiny matte stock. It has a pretty golden finish there, like this little border and the titles, so that kind of makes for something nice, and so it kind of feels kind of special. And it is it sticks very close to the RWS, if not almost exactly the same, except for it's been modernized. It's inclusive, it's pretty, it's inexpensive. So if they don't like it, I don't have to feel like I wasted my money. So I think that this is a good option for someone who, was new and I didn't know what they might like. Um, I could give them this and they might enjoy it. It has pretty fun backs and it comes with a nice guidebook and a very sturdy box. So it's a good little item to have. Not to mention the fact that this company is fabulous and they give a meal for everything they sell. They give a meal to the homeless, so that's amazing as well. So I like to support them in that way as well. It's enough, it's good. It's a very good little white book for a new person, for a newcomer. So I would definitely give this one. That is the Awakened Tarot from Rive. You can find that on Amazon. Next up, my list. Sorry, I'm doing it on my iPad and it went dark on me. What deck do you want to get along with? But it just never clicks. Oh, it's this one. Where is it? I had to go get this out the closet, y'all. I had put it in the closet because I was through. I'm through with this. This is the Whispers of the Oceans Oracle cards. I just can't with this deck. I don't know what it is about this deck, but I don't like it. I mean, long story short, I don't like it. It's a beautiful deck. I really, really want to like this deck. I do, because it's so pretty. And it is the perfect type of Oracle deck because it has the pretty pictures. It has the nice cardstock, that Blue Angel cardstock, because this is the newer version. It has the titles. It has some words down here to kind of get you on your way. You don't have to get in the guidebook if you don't want to. It's nice because everything's right on the card. Oh, well, not everything, but a lot of the things. But I just can't get with these messages. I can't. And I feel like they don't. I don't know if I don't want to say it's a stretch. I just feel like they're very direct messages, and I think they're a little too direct for me. I think they're a little pushy for me, and they don't usually push in the right direction. So I'll ask a question and it'll just give me something out of left field. Like I'm not getting nothing from this deck that feels cohesive to the way that I want to work with it. So I can't with this. And I hate that because it's beautiful. And if I just wanted like a picture book, cards that were a picture book, yeah, this would be the bomb. But for an Oracle deck, this is useless to me. So this is beautiful backs. but it's in the closet, which is kind of like my purgatory. And this will be going out the next time I decide to sell decks. I will be placing this one up for sale or trade or whatever, because yeah, I'm not using this. I'm not using this at all. So this is the Whispers of the Oceans Oracle cards. So next up is, what deck do you only keep for the art? And that, funnily enough, is another Blue Angel deck. This is the Mother Mary Oracle. This deck is so pretty. I love this deck so much, but Alana Fairchild, y'all, I can't with her. I love this one, and that's why I keep it for the art, because I like that to have this beautiful art in this large form. I love the messages that come on the mini of this deck. So the reason that I keep this one specifically for the art is because I actually do. I have the mini. I got the deck in the large form first, and I couldn't do it. Y'all don't Alana Fairchild and me just don't get along. I don't like her. I don't like her guidebooks. I know that is a very unpopular opinion, but I don't like her guidebooks. I think that she goes around the block and back again, and I still don't know what the hell she's talking about. Like, she is too wordy for me. I can't with her. So I like these little minis of her decks. I have two of these minis of her decks that I really love, because it forces her to get to the point in 4 or 5 sentences, and then I can understand what the hell it is she's trying to say. So the reason that I say I keep this for the art is because I like to pull the message from here and then find the matching picture here and keep them together like this on my desk. So I have the big art and the truncated get to the point message. And that's how I work with these decks. And that's the only reason I keep this deck. And if I ever get to the point where I'm not using this one as much, I will probably rehome this one. I'll keep this one. But the pictures are on one side and the messages are on the other. So if I wanted to display it, I can't display even a title. It doesn't even have a title on it, right? I'm only displaying the picture. So I would probably only display it with the words out and the title. But I like the pictures. I really like the artwork, which is why I keep this for the art. So that is a deck that I keep only for the art. Next up is, what deck did you buy because everyone else did? And that is, for me, the Good Karma Tarot. It is, this deck was sold out on Amazon so many times. I kept seeing it all over Instagram. Everybody was using it. It was so cute. So it was only, I think when this deck came out, it was only like, what was it, $17, $18 or something? It was cheap. And it kept selling out. I was like, it must be good. It must be. Everybody has it. Everybody loves it. So I bought it, and I don't regret it. It's very cute. It's easy to use, quick, messages. RWS clone, modern clone with the RWS style modern deck. Super cute. Great guidebook. I don't regret my purchase at all. But this was definitely a influenced deck by the masses. Everybody was getting it. It kept selling out. I was like, it must be great. And it is great. It's pretty great. And so this is the Good Karma Tarot. The next one is, what deck is over your head or just baffles you? And I picked, this is funny, I filled this out about a week ago when I first got it, and I just am sticking with what I put there. And so that is the Rose Oracle. However, this deck no longer baffles me. These are the backs. I started a challenge with myself where I decided I was going to pull one card from this deck every single day, and read from the guidebook and try to do spreads with it and just build spreads around the card that I pull. And suddenly it just clicked. Like, I don't know, even from the first card I pulled when I started that challenge, it just clicked. But when I was using this deck last year when I first got it, I was like, what the hell is this? I don't understand. These images don't match these titles. The titles don't match these keywords. Like, what is going on with this deck? And then I read the guidebook, and she was like, Mother Rose this, Mother. I'm like, what is she talking about? Like, this is too woo for me. And it is woo. I'm not gonna lie. It's a little woo. It's a little woo. It is. But it makes a whole lot more sense to me for some reason now. I just can't connect to the messages that are coming from it. And it could just be the headspace that I'm in. Um, it could be the alignment of the sky, because right now, as I'm filming this and as I've been using this, we are Venus and Aries. So it could be that. I don't know. But yeah, it's no longer a bafflement to me, but that's what it was. That's how I felt about it. And, you know, I've come past that. But like I said, we're going with our first instinct, and that was the Rose Oracle. This is from Hay House by Rebecca Campbell. The next one is, what deck surprised you? And I'm going with the Panda Tarot. This deck, I just filmed a video. I don't know if it's out yet or if it'll be out before or after this, but if it is, I'll put it in the cards, where I talked about decks that were underdogs in my collection. This is absolutely, look at these gorgeous backs. This is absolutely an underdog deck in my collection. It's shocked the hell out of me. I purchased this deck on Llewellyn's website to get free shipping. It was cheap. It was on way sale, and I wanted free shipping. So I added it to my cart and I got it, and I did not realize how much joy this deck would bring me. I have been using this deck to bring me laughs and smiles and just make me this is a good mood deck for me. And I did not expect that. I was like, oh yeah, pandas. You know, I like pandas well enough, you know. This deck is so damn cute and so sweet. And these little pandas make me so freaking happy. Like, I just can't with this. I love it. And it shocked the hell out of me. I was not expecting to love this deck as much as I do. This is another one that will be with me for a lifetime. This one is gonna, I won't be rehoming this. You buy a deck and you're like, if I don't like it, I'll just give it away or whatever. But this one definitely staying with me. So this is the Panda Tarot, or it's Panda Tarot. This is the Los Scarabeo deck. You can get it Amazon, Llewellyn's site, so on and so forth. The next up is, let me see, it says a deck that doesn't really work for you, but you keep it because it's a collectible. And I wouldn't say that I'm going to choose this one. This is the True Black Anniversary Edition. I wouldn't say that the deck doesn't work for me, because I think if there's a deck around here that doesn't work for me, but I wouldn't keep it if it didn't work for me. So I don't have anything like that in my collection, but I wouldn't say that this deck doesn't work for me per se. What I'm saying is that I do keep it because it's a collectible. Because to be honest, I have the other version that I use, and I don't use that one that much. So I don't need two copies of this deck. But I use the other version because it's the one that I'm reaching for, because it's the one I'm used to. And it's already been broken in. I don't have any problems with the card sticking or anything like that. So you can see this one is like, it's a little sticky. I don't know if I'll keep this, or I think what I'll do is I'll probably wait for the new one to come in, the white one that's coming from Kickstarter. And when it comes in, I will see which one of these goes better with the white one. And then I'll keep one and rehome the other. There's no reason for me to keep both, but these backs are everything. Oh my God. So I want to keep this one and rehome the other, but I will have to break this one in because it's very sticky right now. But I don't know. We'll have to see which one goes with the new one. But yes, this is definitely a deck that that I'm keeping just because it's a collectible, or that I even just bought as a collectible specifically. And that is the True Black Anniversary Edition. Next up, what is my favorite gilded deck? And that would be Tarot of the Cosmic Seed. When I saw this gilding, okay, so this was a Kickstarter. And they send updates, but I don't always look at them. And when she sent this deck and I saw this beautiful gilding, it's like a jade blue. I'm like a not a jade. What is this color? Oh, sapphire blue. I don't know. This is gorgeous. This gilding on this deck. It's chipped up because I've been using it, and it's that type of gilding that chips. But It is stunning. And with these backs and this, I mean, these jewel tone fronts, like I love. So this is, I'll just show you some of the cards real quick. But this is definitely my favorite gilded deck. This is the Cosmic Tarot of the Cosmic Seed. It's just another of, you know, the style I like, the photo collage. You can, I don't know, I think this one might be I think this one might be sold out, but I did see that she's getting ready to launch another Kickstarter. I don't know when, for the second version of this, the second printing. So hopefully it'll have the same gilding. I don't know. I can't call it, but I do love the gilding on this one. Next question is, what deck do you love but hate the card stock? There's two here. The first one up is the Oasis. This Oracle deck is fabulous. I have a whole walkthrough. I will link it in the cards for you if you want to see it, but where I read some of the poetry and all of that. But this card stock, this is one of those instances where if this was on a different card stock, I would use this deck probably with every tarot reading that I do. It's that good. But this card stock, first of all, it's a matte gilding, but it's a little scratchy, although it's less so now that I've been using it. But when I first took it out, it was very scratchy. Then it's rose petal finish, and it's not even the kind of rose petal finish that's like easy to move. It's very sticky. Now, on top of that, I don't know what point or whatever is the number of the points of this cardstock, but this is like a freaking brick. Like, I can't bend this at all. Like, I cannot shuffle this at all. And so, like, the whole deck is like having a brick in your hands. Like, I could hit somebody over the head with this and knock them out. Like, I don't know what the hell. It will last forever, but, and I'll just show you some of the cards. It'll last forever. It's a fabulous deck, and I use it. I force it into submission. I do, but it is very difficult to shuffle. It's very difficult. So I have to like try to mix it the best that I can, try to spread it out the best that I can. It doesn't even spread that well. It spreads better than some decks, but it's clumpy. It's just hard to, it just makes it hard for me. Why? Why must you make it difficult for me, Oasis? I love you. I want to use you. I want to use you. Why must you make it difficult for me? So this is the Oasis. And the other one that definitely falls into that category is this one. This is the Guardian Angel Messages Tarot. Now, I watched Lisa's video, and I know that she said the Witch's Wisdom. Now, I don't know for certain because I don't have the Witch's Wisdom, but this is a Hay House Oracle size deck as well. And if it's the same cardstock, I get it because I love this deck, and you can clearly see that I have been using it now. I'm very easy on my deck, so the fact that it's chipped up like this it's just because of the stock. It's not, this is not me like tearing up the decks. I'm very careful with my decks, but this is hard to shuffle. It's hard to shuffle, and it hurts. It hurts my hands to shuffle it. I would probably use this deck more often if it didn't hurt so much to shuffle it. I can use it, like I would use it for my friends, for my family. I would use it all the time if it didn't hurt so much to shuffle it. So like if I'm doing readings for friends and I'm on the phone with them and they want the reading for this question, a reading for that question, a reading for this question, that's a lot of shuffling, right? I have to keep reshuffling and reshuffling. And every time I have to shuffle it, this is hurting my hands. So if I'm doing, 2 or 3 people, one behind the other, I can't use this deck. I would love to. I would love to be able to use this one for every person I read on a Saturday, but I can't do it because I can't shuffle it. My hands be hurting, and that's such a shame because it's such a great, beautiful deck, and it's easy to use, and it has keywords, which is nice, and the keywords are good, which are not always the case for some of these keyword decks. So it has inclusivity. It has color-coded borders for the suits. It's beautiful images. It is a little big, but that's okay. I don't mind that. I can work around that. It's just the shuffling. I've obviously figured out how to shuffle it, but I've had to beat it into submission, and that's why it looks the way it does. But I like it, and I will be keeping it. The same with Oasis. None of the decks that I show as far as cardstock, that's not going to be a make it or break it for me. I'm not going to, it's very rare that I'm going to like not get rid of a deck that I like because of the cardstock, but I will use it less. And that is the Guardian Angel Messages Tarot. Next question. What deck gives me the willies? That would be this one. This is the Meraki Tarot 2nd edition. I was very excited about this deck. I've been watching Tarot Oracle use it to read for what, a year before this one came out, maybe 2 years. I don't know, for a while. It was so beautiful. And that was when it was the first edition with the scalloped edges. And then when she said she was releasing this borderless edition, I was used to looking at the scalloped edges, so I liked that one. But this one was so beautiful. I backed it on Kickstarter. I was so excited. I thought that I knew the deck, and then I got it. Now, I don't like bugs, guys, and I don't know if you've been watching my channel, you know that about me, but this might get to people who haven't seen a video from me before. So just so you know, I'm quite terrified of insects. So even like this card here makes me a little uncomfortable. And even this one with the butterflies, like I don't like bugs, but I knew there were going to be some insects in the deck. Like I knew about the butterflies. I know there's a card in here with like a moth, but when I took this deck out of the box and I was it's funny that we get to this card, and I was doing a flip through of it. There was the 8 of Swords. I remember it like it was yesterday, popped up, and it had a gigantic spider on it. And I was not ready, y'all. I was not ready. I hit the desk, I knocked the cards everywhere. I was terrified. And I have since removed the card and removed it completely from the deck and put it somewhere else because I tried to keep using the deck and I put the card in the bottom of the box, but every time I dumped the cards out, I would see it and it was making me nervous. And I put the Meraki card, which there's a lot of extra cards in this deck, title cards and all kinds. So I'm using this Meraki card, which is an oracle card that I wouldn't use otherwise, as the 8 of Swords. So I've been trying to read with it with this as the 8 of Swords, but every time this pops up, every time I think about that moment when that spider, every time I picture it, I can still see it in my mind. I get scared. And so, yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to keep this one. And it's so sad because it's so beautiful. I mean, look at this Hierophant. That is the most beautiful card ever. And I can't, but I'm scared. And so what I have done is I put it away. Look at this. Look at this devil card. Like, oh my gosh. I'm not a fan of snakes, but it was the bug. It was the spider. It took me out. So I've put it away. I've put it in the closet with all of the purgatory things, but I'm not rehoming anything this year that I know of. So it'll sit there until next year. And then hopefully next year, when I pull it back out to reassess, maybe that feeling will have gone away. And then maybe I can use the deck. I want to use it. I've tried, but look at this beautiful heron. But every time, and like this gives me the willies too, because I don't like a bunch of eyes, but I kind of knew about this one because I think this was a changed card. So she had posted about it. I don't know. It's the spider is the one. I can't. And every time I even think about it, it just makes me nervous. And it's hard to read cards when you're nervous, right? And even though I know that the card isn't there anymore, I've taken it completely out of the box and put it somewhere else altogether. It kept popping up for me. It popped up that first time where it scared me so bad I knocked everything off the table. And then the next couple of times I opened the box, because it was in the bottom of the box, I kept seeing it. And so this is the willies, mega willies. So I am, y'all pray for me that I can that I can get over it, so I can use this beautiful deck because it is gorgeous and I want to use it. But yeah, there's that. So next up, what's your favorite deck for shadow work? So I approach shadow work in a different way than a lot of other people. I don't believe, for me, that I don't want to use decks that make me nervous or that I don't like to use decks with creepy imagery or decks that take me to a dark place with dark imagery at all when I'm doing shadow work. I feel like shadow work is difficult enough. I'm already asking hard questions. I'm getting hard answers, and I want my decks to hold me, to comfort me, and to be comfortable. I want them to be something that I know very well, like I know the images very well. I don't want any kind of surprising uh things popping up as far as the imagery goes. I don't want anything that is going to trigger me. I don't want anything like that when I'm doing shadow work. I want something very comforting, something that is going to speak to me in a comforting voice, something that is going to feel comfortable for me. So I use, when I am doing shadow work, the darker side of shadow work. Now there's two parts to it, right? There's the side where you're uncovering the shadow, and then there's the side where you're bringing that shadow into light, right? And so the darker parts where I am doing the hard work, the parts where, you're going to get into that deep into your psyche, and you may be doing a little bit of scary things, like, not that when I'm asking questions that I know that the answers are going to be a little hard, not a little, a lot hard to hear. I use a Super Lunaris because this deck holds me. It protects me. I don't want anything that is going to be abrasive on my mind or my spirit when I'm doing shadow work, because I'm already doing hard enough work. And I use it in conjunction with, this is the Soul Trees Ascension deck. I use these two together when I am doing shadow work. And this is my go-to. Now, I have a couple of other decks that fall into this sort of safe space for shadow work. And then when I'm doing the lighter part of shadow work, where I'm bringing things into the light, where I'm coming up the other side, I try to use fun decks. I try to use light decks that feel spacious. I reach a lot for black and white decks. Um, decks that have a lot of open space to them, pit decks, and things like that. But when I'm doing the darker part, it's usually this one. And if I want to pull in an oracle, it's probably going to be this one. Every now and then I will use like the Lantern Oracle, or I got a new one last year. What is it called? It's got cute little images in it about that remind me of where the wild things are. I can't remember the name of it. Sometimes I'll use that oracle, but most of the time, this is the pair. This is the pair that I'm using for shadow work, and this is the Super Lunaris Tarot and the Soul Trees Ascension Oracle. I trust these decks to hold me, to keep me safe during my shadow work. When you're doing that kind of work with your psyche, you don't want something that is going to be abrasive on your psyche, on your third eye, on your physical eyes, or on your mind, body, your spirit, whatever. You want something that is going to hold you. I want something that's going to hold me and keep me safe. And so I go with these two. Next up is, what deck do you love in theory but not in practice? And for me, that is the Ancestral Path Tarot by Julie Couture-Watts. This is the US Games. This is the new version. I don't know. I think the other one was smaller. This one, this is the only one I have, so I can't say. This is a beautiful deck. Okay, it's gorgeous. I love to pull the suits out and go through. There's some YouTube videos where Julie Couture-Watts has joined another YouTuber. I can't remember her name or her channel, but you can search up this deck, and it will pull up the videos where she's reading the entire guidebook, the old guidebook that you can't get anymore. It's out of print, so that people can understand the story behind the deck, because this deck is doing its own thing. The cards are like, they run backwards. The suits run backwards from 10 to ace, and the story, there's like, each suit is wrapped up in its own lore and story, and it's doing its own thing. It's a beautiful deck. But for ancestral work, I cannot use this deck. First of all, when I'm doing an ancestral spread, I'm using a lot of cards, and these cards are gigantic. Like, if this is a regular tarot card, I mean, look at that. They're giant. So, I mean, this is bigger than even an oracle card. So they're too big for me for doing ancestral spreads, because I like to use a lot of cards when I'm doing an ancestral spread. The other thing is this there's a lot of story behind these cards that has to be taken into account to be able to understand the imagery on the cards and why it's been chosen, especially in the drums suit. Is it the drums or the coin suit? The circles, the sacred circles suit. And the guidebook is, I mean, you can use it. Like I said, I will pull one card and use the guidebook and, think about it in that way. But as far as using this for like a full on spread, this deck is not for me. I even like tried to take some notes and like from watching the YouTube videos, and I just can't. I can't use it in that way as an ancestral deck, but it's a beautiful deck, and I'm not going to be parting with it. I will be keeping it. I do use it. Like I said, one or two cards at a time using the guidebook. But as far as just being able to just read with it, it's not possible for me. So, and I think the theory behind it that I love is the idea of having an ancestral deck with so many different mythologies and stories intertwined. But I can't. I can't use it. It's not for me to use. I know some people probably are looking like, what are you talking about? This is the best deck ever. But for me, it's just not feasible. It's not for me. But I do use it, and I will be keeping it. I'm not going to rehome this deck. I've kept it all this time, and I'm gonna keep it. The next one is, what deck would you never use to read for someone else? Okay, so this is twofold. This deck is the Antique Anatomy Tarot. Everybody knows it. Everybody loves it. It's a beautiful deck. I would never use this deck to read for someone else for two reasons. First off, this deck for me is an ancestral deck. So I would never use one of my ancestral decks to read for anyone. I only use them for ancestral work. The other thing is this is a macabre deck, and I don't use macabre decks to read for people. These decks with these skulls and crossbones, my vampire decks, decks with whatever. If it's got like werewolves and spirits, I have a deck called Tarot of Haunted House. I don't use those to read for other people. I've learned my lesson. People get scared. I don't want to scare people. Tarot is already a little nerve-wracking for a lot of people. If they're opening themselves up to a reading for me, the last thing I want to do is present them with imagery that is going to make them any kind of uncomfortable. So I do not read with these types of decks for people. I don't, even if this wasn't an ancestral deck for me, I would not use it to read for other people. In the same way, I would not use my vampire decks or the Tarot of Haunted House, which I did try to use to read for someone else. And that's how I learned this lesson. And then I would also not use, I have the Poe Tarot. I used that to read for someone once, and it scared her. So I would never use that one to read for someone else again. I don't use macabre style decks to read for people. The only reason I used the Poe Tarot was because it was just something that was sitting there, and she called me for a reading randomly, and I just grabbed it, and I didn't think about it. But there is some very dark macabre imagery in that deck, and so I shouldn't have used it for her. And then I did switch to something else. Which brings me to the next deck, because this is the deck that I switched to for that reading. And this has, what deck would you never use for yourself? And this is the Modern Witch Tarot. It never say never. It's not that I would never use this deck for myself. I used it for myself when I first got it. But I had a reading with it that upset me, left me crying and sad. And when that happens, you shy away from a deck for a little while, right? And then I pulled it back out to read for someone, and I just never used it for myself again. And now I just use it specifically to read for other people, only to read for other people, specifically one person that I read for a lot. She really loves this deck, but I have a few friends. This is a crowd pleaser. People really love this deck when I pull it out. So I have a few friends that I will use to read. I will read for with this deck, but one in particular, if she ever, this is her, I feel like this is her deck, but I'm just keeping it for her because she can't read tarot. Because to be honest, if she ever decided that she wanted to read tarot, I would send her this deck for her first deck. because I feel like I use it to read for her so much. It feels like it's her deck, you know. So yeah, so that this is a deck I wouldn't use to read for myself. I kind of use it to read for. I always use it to read for other people. I mean, never say never. You know, I'm not saying that I have anything against using it to read for myself, but it just is. It just kind of how it happened, you know. And this is the Modern Witch Tarot. The next one up is what deck could you not bring yourself to buy? And for me, that is the Onyx. No, the Dust to Onyx Tarot. Um, I cannot bring myself to pay that much money for that deck. It's like $150. I think it's beautiful, but I don't know that I would use it that much because of um I I don't have the deck, but from what I can see it seems to have it steps away from the typical RWS symbolism, rightfully so, in its theme. And but I know when a deck steps that far away, it's more difficult to grasp without the guidebook. And if I have to get into a guidebook for a deck, I'm not going to use it as much, especially in the beginning. Also, I realized that it is collage art. And because the artwork is so layered, I need the bigger images. I've thought about getting the smaller one. But first of all, I'm gonna want the guidebook. So buying the smaller one plus the guidebook is still gonna cost me a good amount of money. And I don't know that I'll be able to see the smaller one. I have bad eyes. So I would want the bigger one. My hands are small. The card stock I hear is not that easy to shuffle. Also, I'm gonna have to get into the guide. There's just a lot of reasons why I'm probably not gonna use the deck that much. And then to pay $150 for a deck that I'm not gonna use that much, I can't bring myself to do it. I can't say never. I'm never gonna say never, but for at this point of the deck that I can't bring myself to buy, it's that one. And I cannot tell you how many times I have woken up on a Saturday morning and been like, I'm gonna just do it and put it in my cart, and then by the end of the day, been like, nah, never mind. Cannot tell you how many times. But yes, Dust to Onyx is the one that I could not bring myself to buy. So, what's my favorite pip deck? My favorite pip deck. I don't do favorites. If you've been here before, you know favorites are not my thing. But the one that I use the most is this one. This is the Tarot Familiars. It's cute. I like pip decks with beautiful pips. I think that these pips are gorgeous. I love the filigree work in the corners. I just think it's cute. And it's small. It fits really nicely in my hands. I can shuffle it super easy. These gorgeous coins. Oh my gosh. I like looking at it. I like looking at it. I find new things in these little images every now and then. So yeah, this is my favorite pip deck. Nothing really special about it except that it's pretty. I like looking at it. Small. That's it. That's the Tarot Familiars. My favorite pip. I don't know if I would call it favorite. Like I said, it's just the one I use the most. I have quite a few pip decks, and I don't like to pick favorites. So let me see. What deck slaps you with the truth? I was going to choose a different deck, but I think I'm going to go with this one. This is the Journey of a Lonely Soul. This is the newest deck in my collection. I picked this up at the Llewellyn Mabon sale, I want to say. I was doing a pre-order and I needed, you know how that goes. You need free shipping. And so I purchased this one because, to be honest, I have been overly curious about Charles Harrington's guidebooks for a while. And this deck was on my wish list anyway, because it's a Charles Harrington guidebook. And I have pre-ordered the Tarot Vampires in this order, the new one coming out with his guidebook. But I don't want to wait. I wanted this one. I needed the free shipping anyway, so I got it, and I'm not regretful. But it is a sharp shooter. It definitely puts you directly in your place, and it's the guidebook. It's the guidebook. So it's the story of a soul traveling alone through the world and meeting its shadow, meeting its light. you know, combining with other souls, disconnecting from other souls, and just learning to get along in this world in its own strength. And it's a very interesting concept for an oracle deck. I think it's only maybe 30 something cards, but it's punchy as hell. So there's no reason for any more cards because it tells the entire story in these 30 cards. So I enjoy it. I actually purchased it thinking I was going to mix it with my unicorns oracle. But I don't know, y'all. I think this deck is doing enough with this little 30 cards. I think it's doing enough. I think it does. I think one card or two at a time, it slaps you with the truth. It tells you what you need to hear in its own way. I don't know. After I've used it for a while, maybe I'll want to mix it with another. But for right now, I'm just rocking out with it on its own. I'm not using it that much, but it's a good one. And this I definitely think is a deck that slaps you with the truth. This is the Journey of a Lonely Soul. This is a Los Scarabeo deck. And the last question is, what was the deck that got away? I have two. One, the Lua Lenormand, and the other one, that 90s Tarot. Those decks, damn it! The Lua Lenormand I had in my cart on Etsy when I purchased the Lua Tarot. She had a package where you could buy both, the Lenormand and the Tarot together. And I was like, I'm not reading Lenormand that much. I don't need another Lenormand deck. I'm just get the Tarot for now. And then if I do decide to read Lenormand a little bit more, I'll buy the Lenormand deck. And then of course it's sold out. And then of course now you can't get anything anywhere from her at all. She's not selling decks at all anymore. So I don't know if I'll ever get that one. I don't know if she'll ever pick them back up or if they're going to go mass market or what. If they went mass market in French, I would purchase it in French because I don't need it to be in English for Lenormand. So, but that Lenormand deck, I really kicked myself a lot because I could have had it. It was in my cart, and then I said, no, I'll just get the deck. And then that 90s Tarot, I didn't buy that deck because I thought that the human faces, I mean, the real people faces would distract me. But since then, I've purchased other decks or I've been gifted one particular deck in mind that, you know, I use that has real people that doesn't really bother me to read with. So I wish I would have purchased that deck when I had the chance. Another one I had in my cart. I was gonna buy it, and then I said, oh, I'll wait, and then it went out of print, and now it's gone. So you can't even get that thing on eBay. So yeah, those are the two that got away, and those are my 21 questions. Thank you, Lisa and Peggy, and the group of people who did these questions on the live for bringing these questions to us. I was happy to join in. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps my channel. Comment below if you have anything to say about any of these decks. I'll link the ones that I have walkthroughs for, like I said, in the cards, so you can check the description box below, under the description box below for the cards. And yeah, until next time, stay safe and be blessed. Bye-bye.